Good morning. Once again, coming to you live from the driver's seat. And today is Monday. And we're back on our mastery once again, because motivation is not enough. We need to master something. So today I want to talk about how to learn. They say if you do not learn from your mistakes, you are doomed to repeat them again. If you don't learn from history, history will repeat itself. Basically, if you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, it's because you have not learned your lesson. Now, a lot of people think because you have degrees, because you've been doing something a long time, that you learned something or that you know it. But there's a difference between being able to regurgitate facts, mimic something, and actually having learned it. I remember being in school and they would give us word problems. And we would always have trouble with the word problems because that required you to understand it. Now, if you just put it on the paper, then I could just remember what the steps are, and I do this, then I do that, then I do that, do this, then I do that. But that doesn't mean that I learned it. That just means I know how to give you the steps to get the answer. And don't get me wrong, I am a fan of doing what works and following people who do what works. But there is more to it than that. The Bible says in all you're getting, get understanding. And when I was really kind of working this out this morning in my head and God was kind of giving it to me, he reminded me of the disciples when they tried to heal and they weren't able to heal. And they went back to Jesus and they said, but we couldn't do it. And he told them it was because of their faith. And faith is about understanding and belief. Understand what I believe in, why I believe in it, so that I can execute. But if you don't quite understand it, then you really can't execute it. Because when you start talking about wanting to do something, what happens if the circumstances change? What happens if what you used to do becomes obsolete? It's like kids in driving. Kids see you drive, so they think it's real easy to drive. But once you get behind the wheel, you realize that there are other cars moving, that dogs may run in front of you, it may be rainy today, your tire may not have enough air in it. There are so many other variables other than just start it up and hit the gas. But once you start to kind of understand where the problems could come from when you're driving, then you drive differently. You look to your left, you look to your right, you check your rearview mirror, you look at road conditions. There are so many other things other than just start it up and go. See, learning really starts to take place when you are able to understand and apply in any given situation. That because it's raining outside, I need to adjust my speed. Because it's cold outside, I need to warm the car up. To know how to not only operate in sunny weather, but in bad weather. How to drive at night as opposed to just only being able to drive in the day. And you don't get all of that watching other people do it. You get it by understanding it, dissecting it, and applying it. And it's the same way with the gospel. It's one thing to quote scriptures and know where they are in the Bible and know what the Bible says. It's another thing to understand and how to apply them and what their principles are really trying to give you. That's the part of this that I think sometimes people don't quite get. That you have to understand how to operate. You could go to work and you could do things all day long that work. But when you really understand how to apply them, how to think outside of the box, how to give what the situation really needs, that's when you start to dominate. When you start to really figure out how to operate this thing to get maximum result in any situation. And that's really what I'm trying to coach, teach, and train people to do. To get good understanding so that when a problem arises, you already saw it coming. So you made preparations. The old song says there's a storm on the ocean and it's coming this way. So you got to get anchored. You got to know what to do in advance, not once the storm hits. So before we go any further in any of this stuff that we're doing, let's really start to try to figure out each and every day what our real purpose is and how to really reach that purpose. Because realistically, your job is not what your plan is. Your job is just a way of reaching your goals. So when you go to work, what's the real plan? Is the real plan to make enough money to start my own business? Is the real plan to grab enough information so that I can start my own, to get promoted? What's the real plan? And really start to work on that and understand how to execute it. Because right now, what you are, who you are, is not who you want to be. I don't care who you are. If you're doing the best you can, you still see something somewhere that you want. And I want you to be able to get it. So let's start to try to understand not only what it says, but the principle behind it, the purpose behind it. And not only understand what that is, but how to apply it. And once you do that, you'll really be learning. Now, to the next time we see each other, remember this. To those who have been given dominion, they were born to dominate. Now have a great day and just get started.